Anybody else? Anybody else watching like Lego? I just built this Lamborghini Countach to go with a Porsche 911 I made earlier this year. I mean, it's not like I got a problem or anything. Well, hello, it is us three again, the rocker, the headbanger and the oddball, and we're back. We're back with a video that is frankly so exciting, it should probably come with at least one government health warning, and to top it all off, in common with all our videos, this is being filmed completely without the aid of a safety net. But remember, we are professionals. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 albums, but not just any old 3 albums, no, albums that catapulted the releasing artist from already dizzy heights to the rock stratosphere, a place reserved for only the biggest selling bands. Now, they're all albums from 3 of the heaviest bands to ever grace the planet, but they differ in that they appear at different, well, obviously, or they wouldn't, it doesn't matter, times in the band's discography. And in true style, we'll do the longest to shortest gap here. Right, before we begin, now let's have a bit of fun, all right? Pause this video right now and make your guesses in the comments below as to what you think these albums are. And then at the end of the video, edit your comment to see how many you managed to guess. Again, what fun, eh? What fun. All right, all done. Then we'll begin. Now, the first artist on my list is Judas Priest, and the album that really launched them into the superstar category was, of course, British Steel. But boy, did they take their time getting there, with this album marking their 6th studio album and 7th release overall. Oh, well, depending on how you view Unleashed in the East, or Unleashed in the Studio, or Overdubbed in the East, as I prefer to call it, then maybe British Steel is their 7th studio release. Well, the first 2 releases, Rock-a-Rolla and the excellent Sad Wings of Destiny, didn't trouble the UK charts at all, and it's UK chart success that we'll be looking at as well. I'm from the UK. And it wasn't until Sin After Sin that you shifted enough vinyl for the album to chart at number 23 here. Stained Class then followed, reaching number 27, before they continued this backward trend with the absolutely excellent Killing Machine, hitting only number 32 in the charts. Their live offering, though, did chart at number 10, I believe, but it was their next album, British Steel, that really launched the band into the hearts and minds of the British record-buying public. It was a far more commercial release than anything that had come before, with the possible exception of Take on the World from Killing Machine. But with Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight and Grinder all reaching the UK top 30 singles charts. And this in an era when you had to shift like serious numbers to get in the charts at all. But to judge the album by its single releases alone is a little disingenuous, really, with the album containing not one what you might call filler track. Every song on that record is memorable, with every song being performed live, I think, at some stage by the band. Highlights for me, though, from the album are Steeler, Rapid Fire and The Rage, with British Steel being an album I played over and over and over throughout the early 1980s. It was only really with their last 2 releases recently that Priest surpassed the commercial success of British Steel, but in a time where physical sales aren't as important when determining chart positions anymore. Now, next up come the mighty Motorhead with their 4th or 5th, again, it's ambiguous, studio release. And it is, of course, Ace of Spades. Now, I say 4th or 5th because after Motorhead, Overkill and Bomber, what was supposed to be their debut album, On Parole, was released by United Artists, and very much not with the band's blessing. Still, I guess UA wanted to jump on the Motorhead bandwagon, with the first 3 releases climbing the charts to numbers 43, 24 and 12 respectively. So who can blame them? Commercial, eh? But it was Ace of Spades that brought Lemmy, Fast Eddie Clarke and Filthy Animal Taylor into our living rooms and onto mainstream radio and TV, with the title track spending a whole 3 months in the UK singles charts, peaking at number 15. It charted again in January 2016, though, sadly following the great man's passing. But the track, like, it transcended chart success, really, becoming an anthem for the new wave of British heavy metal. Not something I think Lemmy was all that comfortable with, but I can't really listen to the song much anymore, though, as it's been absolutely played to death over the years. But seeing Motorhead on top of the Pops, that was something else. That the band didn't release another track from the album as a follow-up, cemented their rock legend status, really, and Ace of Spades was to be the band's most commercially successful album by far. It's impossible really to pick out standout tracks from such an utterly perfect album, but if I must, then Love Me Like a Reptile, Fast and Loose, and The Chase is Better Than a Catch are perhaps highlights. But you'll have your own, and let me know what they are in the comment section. Last, and with the least number of previous releases, come Iron Maiden with only their third album, and this is undisputedly their third album, Number of the Beast. Following their eponymous debut, which remarkably for a debut album really charted at number 4, and then Killers, which reached a respectable 12th spot. It could be said that Maiden were already in the highest echelons, certainly of UK rock superstardom. But the firing of Paul Di'Anno and then replacing him with Samson frontman, airline pilot and swordsman, in that order, Bruce Dickinson, projected the band into full-on rock gods, really, with the record achieving platinum status here as well as, right across the globe. There's no mistaking the fact that Number of the Beast was an absolutely massive release, not just for the band, but in the rock sphere in general. There were 2 singles pulled from the album, with Run to the Hills reaching number 7 and the title track itself getting to number 18. As far as the album was concerned, though, gone were the more raw, guttural, punk-like vocals of Di'Anno, replaced with the more articulate and precise phrasing of Dickinson, more in tune with the complex direction Steve Harris wanted to take the band's music. It was also, sadly, the last Maiden album to feature the late, great Clive Burr. Dickinson was also heavily involved in writing songs for the album, but due to the rather acrimonious split from his previous band, he couldn't receive any actual writing credits for them. A Number of the Beast was certainly a watershed moment in the history of Iron Maiden, and perhaps in contrast to Priest and Motorhead, this wasn't to be the peak of their status either, with subsequent releases all reaching the top 5 in the UK album charts, with most titles actually topping them. Back to Number of the Beast, though, and although not my favourite Maiden record, that accolade goes to Killers. I simply cannot pick a favourite track or tracks from this record. It's perhaps the most whole-rounded record of the 3 I've discussed, and certainly one best listened to as a whole rather than just track by track, if that makes sense. There we go then, 3 absolute massive heavy rock, metal, whatever you want to call them, albums that would surely put the band that released them firmly on the world stage, not just in rock circles, but, giants of music as a whole. Somehow I feel Lemmy wouldn't be very happy with that accolade. Anyway, see you all again soon, and until then, be nice to each other, okay? Ta-ra.